My Hero Academia Chapter 406 is finally out, and with it we get some revelations on the past, on some quirks, and we also get to see both Bakugo and Midoriya go beyond. It's plus ultra time, baby! But before we begin, don't forget to Detroit smash that subscribe button to keep up to date with all the LunchTime crew / My Hero content. And so, without further ado, let's jump right into My Hero Academia Chapter 406, titled Understand Your Own Quirk. This chapter opens up updating us on the current state of all the different battles taking place across Japan. In Central Hospital and on Akutu Island, the villains have been defeated and the heroes are treating their wounded. Back where this war started, Hagakure and Aoyama are in the process of freeing everyone from the plants, and Hagakure is still visible for some reason. Over at Takoba Arena, the fight is ongoing as we see Ojiro and Ryukyu charging in on the villain Gashly, who, fun fact, we haven't actually got a full image of, and all we know is that he has an umbrella. Hound Dog and Shindo have captured Skeptic in his hideout. Kamakiri and Kuruiro, two Class B students, are both evacuating civilians to Ketsubutsu Academy, and finally we see that all of the villains over at Jakku have been captured as well. So all in all, not too shabby for the heroes. You know, with the exception of everywhere All for One has been, and the fact that the location of Kurogiri, Present Mike, and Aizawa is still unknown. But you know, still not bad. Following this quick montage, we see Lady Nagant crippled on the ground, remembering Rocklock's words that the hero's plan hinges on their fate in Deku, as she thinks Izuku Midoriya. And with this thought, the story cuts right back on over to the main fight, where All Might, in seeing Bakugo rocket towards All for One with insane speed and blast the villain with an uber powerful explosion, can't help but comment on how much Bakugo's quirk has grown, which leads to Edshot commenting how this isn't any ordinary increase in power. Bakugo is in the process of truly understanding how his quirk works. Edshot then notes how this sudden increase in power first occurred mere moments before Bakugo's death, when he charged Shigaraki All for One with such speed that even the monstrous villain himself was caught by surprise. And so, he believes that from now on, the more Bakugo uses his power, the more he will come to understand and unlock its true potential. That's right, Bakugo's getting a power boost. And with this comment, we see that the explosion murder god himself has blasted All for One directly into a building, as the Demon King thinks about how although he is pissed, he can't delay anymore. He'll have to kill Bakugo later, as Shigaraki, in seeing the power of the resurrected hero, merely comments that he's not worried at all, as all this means is that he will just have to break Bakugo again. With Bakugo now officially back on the battlefield, Midoriya starts to strategize once again, noting how so far in this fight he's been using Danger Sense to dodge, but he still hasn't found a way to deal with Shigaraki's regeneration, decay, and superhuman body. And so, despite his knowledge that activating Gear Shift one more time will prove detrimental to his body, he ultimately decides that it's time to go plus ultra. And so, as Midoriya activates the second user's quirk and Bakugo charges All for One, we get 2 pages showing off Midoriya versus Shigaraki and Bakugo versus All for One, as the pages say, go beyond. However, despite this awesome setup, All for One, being the supreme party pooper that he is, immediately rockets himself away and towards Shigaraki. While doing this, All for One notes how Bakugo's explosion quirk doesn't have the same raw power as Endeavor's Hellflame or even Tokoyami's Dark Shadow, so he doesn't see it as any sort of a threat, and so he decides to not waste any more time fighting, and I quote, a random guy like Bakugo. Although, ironically, it is in this brief moment of freedom that Bakugo finally understands the insane truth about his quirk. Pain is the key to its power. What? Bakugo figures out that when the sweat that should be coming from his hands flows throughout his whole body, the most volatile beads of sweat cause the most excruciating pain. So, in order to utilize this quirk to its fullest, he has to pinpoint where it hurts the most and master the timing of his ignition in order to unleash stronger explosions. And so, with this realization, we see Bakugo begin to rocket not only up to the speeding All for One, but past him. And as he prepares to let out another explosion, still suffering immensely, he begins to laugh, thinking back to how he used to wonder if he could still catch up to Izuku, because right now he feels as though he could even surpass him. Our Bakugo is back, baby! With this, the story then briefly cuts away to the civilians in the main part of UA, where we see both Mama and Papa Bakugo watching the fight on a big screen. Bakugo's dad, Masaru, starts to look away as he can't bring himself to watch his own son fight the monster that is All For One. But Mama Bakugo, Mitsuki, grabs him and tells him to watch, as she herself, with tears in her eyes, looks at the screen stating that Katsuki must be smiling like he always does. And right she is, as Bakugo is giving off his classic smug smirk, which not only pisses off All For One once again, but also makes him think about and realize why he's getting so angry at someone who should be a complete nobody, as it finally clicks to him that Bakugo looks just like One For All's second user. We then get a brief flashback of All For One confronting the second user, in which the second user states, "If you're looking for Yuichi, Mr. Demon Lord, he's already gone. You killed him." And with this memory fresh in his mind, All For One becomes full with fury as he realizes that none of this would have happened if the second user hadn't reached out his hand to his little brother, Yuichi. All For One then screams out in a fit of pure rage, "It's all your fault, Kudo," finally revealing the second user's name, as Bakugo replies, "Are you getting senile? I'm the one and only Kachan Bakugo." And that's it for chapter 406. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like. For more content like this, subscribe to the Lunchtime crew. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. It's lunchtime.